The path to enlightenment is a path of becoming more and more ourselves. But we don't know that that's what we're becoming when we begin, nor while we make our way along. It's like we're a knot that's all twisted up and has to be untied. And we don't know which way's up and which way's down. But we simply obey an inner voice that leads us to do this thing or that thing. The best voice, of course. And we're sure to get it wrong if there is a wrong to the whole process, because it all teaches something. Someone who's in this path often doesn't quite know what's a good circumstance or a bad circumstance, because it all works out so well to teach them about themselves. The things that seem like mistakes are some of the most precious experiences. But it seems like that really has to be our goal. We have to want it. And we have to want it completely, in a full sense. We have to want it in the way that a person wants it who's willing to have the whole house torn down, to have a sound house, to know that what resides in the house is really the real them, and not some fiction, not some harmful fiction. To know that who resides in their house is themselves and not an imposter. And of course, to even want that, a person has to see that who they thought they were, is not all it's cracked up to be. And of course, this is the struggle with the pursuit of who we think we want to be. We find out that we are a mystery to ourselves, that we are incapable of creating a version of ourselves that brings us lasting peace. And so there is the missing link in the pursuit of enlightenment. And the missing link seems to be that we need something outside of ourselves to show us to ourselves. That didn't quite make sense. We need something outside of ourselves to show us who we really are. And that's why in so many of the ancient stories, enlightenment comes in a moment when it is least expected. It comes at a time when we have stopped pursuing it. And yet it seems like the desire of it, the desire for it, is essential. And so perhaps even that cannot be dispensed with. But it appears that it's not until we have proven to ourselves that we are incapable of finding the true self, and that we actually come in contact with the true self. And it's here, it seems, that the East meets West, or the West meets East, you might say. It's in our failure to enlighten ourselves as to who and what we really are that we find the need for an outside saving force. It's here that we realize that what we really need is to be saved from ourselves. And isn't that just perfect? Because it also brings all of the virtues together. And it's at this point that one of the most important virtues comes into play, and that's gratitude. And gratitude is a very powerful creative force. And so you can only find gratitude wherein you know that your enlightened eyes once were blind, and that some unseen, not unseen perhaps, but perhaps unseen, and unexpected Savior reached down and touched your blindness and helped you see. And of course that can be had in part by reading about it, by listening to the experiences of others. But in the end we discover that if we want the entire house redone, if we want to be completely remade, shaped, formed into something completely new, a new creature, that we cannot simply listen to the experiences of others or read the experiences of others or learn by precept. We must actually hear that almost imperceptible, almost unhearable voice, and then obey.